we're going to bring on two past winners who are on this stage, well, the physical one, in 2018 and 2019. And Marissa Trew, our moderator for this session, is going to catch up with them. So Marissa?
Hi, everyone. As per Vera's introduction, for the next 15 minutes, we're going to catch up with the winners of our previous WiT Startup Pitch competition. So I'd like to introduce Matthew Howden, co-founder of IDEM Hospitality and the Senior VP and General Manager of Attendee Experience at Groups 360, and Dylan Tan, CEO and co-founder of Split. Hi, guys.
Hi, Marissa.
Hi, Marissa.
Hey, Matthew. So to offer a bit of context to this conversation, Split is an online payment solution startup that allows customers to pay in installments, while IDEM Hospitality, or now Groups 360, is a cloud-based group reservation software for hotels. So we're going to jump right into it. We'll start with a timeline of when the pandemic hit. Dylan, I'd like to start with you and find out what the immediate impact COVID had on Split as a business and how you responded.
Yeah, thanks. So when we won this Web and Travel award in 2018, we were a completely different company, focusing specifically on the travel industry. And I think it was early April, where I looked at my co-founder, and pardon my French, we literally said we're screwed. Like, we literally, because our partners were all not doing any travel, borders were closed, our revenues had literally dropped to rock bottom. And then we sort of had to figure out exactly, after like maybe a couple of sleepless nights and a lot of panic attacks, we had to figure out where we needed to shift our business to. So we were tracking where consumers were shifting their spending, less onto travel, obviously, and now into more things that you can buy online and use at home, like a yoga mat or a Nintendo Switch. So having no idea of the consumer retail space, goods and services, e-commerce, we hacked our way to a solution, and we got our very first customers. I literally called some friends back home in Penang and said, hey, who are running some online stores. Hey, do you want to use our service? I'll give it to you for free. I was literally begging them to use it for free. Let your customers pay in installments. I think the rest was history. Like we figured out that customers really love this, businesses really love this. And we started signing on big retailers across Malaysia. That was really exciting. And we just hit like our $1 million in sales a month ago. So that was really exciting times for us and to shift into this space.
So obviously business rushed in really fast, but just a quick question of how fast was it to actually make that pivot? How long did it take you?
It took us about a week, literally hacking this in the, at home. I guess we're all working from home at the time. Hacking it 1 week, unplugging it all from airlines and travel agents and hotels and plugging it into e-commerce solutions that we had never used before.
I guess it's a perfect example of a fight or flight scenario. But Matthew, similarly, when the pandemic began, like what did you see within the group booking and planning space, and then how did you respond accordingly?
Yeah, interesting. So as IDEM Hospitality, we were booking technology for meetings and events. So we were kind of we were at the forefront of this pandemic. We saw reservations fall from our customers drastically in a matter of weeks. It went from 10,000 or more a month through to virtually zero overnight. So we went out, we talked to our customers, we went out and spoke to them and tried to come up with concepts and ideas. How can we help them generate money? And we started by creating staycation solutions. So to drive a little bit of interest for our hotel customers, a little bit of demand. We saw some good pickup. So large corporations were onboarding their private label staycation booking websites, and we saw some demand going through, and it started to pick up, and then it got worse. COVID got worse, and it just the bottom fell out of that as well. So again, just back to the customers, just talking to them, and working with one of our larger customers. They said they were looking for a solution to sell vouchers, and they wanted to drive demand today and be able to produce that later in the year. And I actually bought one for Banyan Tree, which was an unbelievable staycation myself. So I knew what the product was. So in our system today, we have an upsell, a proprietary upsell solution that allows us to sell packages to group guests. So we kind of pivoted with that or expanded on that solution to allow guests or individuals to buy a voucher for a product. And today I saw one of our hotels put up mumcations, which are pretty cool. And they're selling, and they're going great guns right now. They're selling products, they're selling services, staycations, F&B. It's great. It's fantastic. So we kicked on with these vouchers. Really good.
So you mainly stuck to the core business, but then you expanded with a new product feature, right?
Yeah.
So then beyond the pivots and then the new product launches, both of you have actually been busy with funding and acquisitions, which I think is a bit of a rare find in the current climate. So Dylan, tell us what you've been up to in the fundraising scene, because I know you've been quite busy.
Oh yeah, we closed the venture capital round at the end of last year for the travel industry, which was pretty much the worst time ever you could raise money in the travel industry. But I think with our change in focus and the crazy growth that we experienced, we raised the follow-on round a couple of months ago, and we're already actively raising our next round, barely a few months after the last round, just to fuel that growth we are going through right now.
So what series are you in now?
We are raising for our Series A, yes.
Okay, so investors take note. And then, so Matthew, IDEM Hospitality was recently acquired. So first of all, congratulations. You're now Group 360. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, and someone please correct me if I am, you are our first WiT startup alumni exit. So can you tell us how that deal came about? And also, how did COVID impact that deal?
Yeah, sure. So back up to, I think it was like June 2019, we were introduced to the guys at Group 360 by the Accor team that we've been working with very closely. And they said, you guys need to meet up. And then we ended up meeting the Group 360 guys at High Tech in 2019 in Minneapolis. And we just hit it off, and they've got this platform that simplifies meetings. And we saw opportunities, how we can partner together. We've got a product that simplifies group reservations for meetings and events. And they're driving demand for meetings and events at one end, and simplifying the entire process with the planner and with the hotel. We saw a partnership going on, and those partnership discussions, they turned into acquisition discussions in October of last year. And then we were negotiating through that. It was meant to close in March, and then COVID. So yeah. So it certainly just took the wind out of everyone's sails. We just slowed down a bit. It didn't affect the deal, which is great. We continued on. The discussions kept moving, and it just actually gave us a bit of breathing space to be able to complete the deal in the lull of business, right? Because doing a merger and acquisition is a lot of hard work in the first place. So having that little bit of a lull made it a little bit easier.
So in a twisted kind of way, it actually worked to your advantage when most businesses were completely paralyzed, which I think is a dark benefit. So that being said, we have pivots, we have product launches, we have funding, we have acquisitions. So, I mean, it's needless to say, you're both really strong examples of two startups that have actually managed to make lemonade out of lemons. But if we filter back all the success aspects of it, did it all go smoothly? Like, I'd like to know if there were any mistakes that each of you are willing to share and like how you rectified them. Once we take away the veneer of, this year's successes, what did you get wrong?
Okay, I'll go first. So I think when we first started off from that 0 point where we had no business at all, we first started to get our first few merchants and customers on board. I really wanted to deliver them a really good concierge service. I was literally hand-holding our customers. Hey, I'll get you on board. Let's do it today. Any customer issues or partner issues, just literally WhatsApp me or give me a call. Obviously, that's not scalable. And I think I realized fairly soon after that, where we're starting to get about 100 businesses relying on us for their incremental revenue. We have thousands of customers coming to us every month. There's no way we could hold on to all those functions as the founders anymore. I think we realized then we had to delegate a lot of stuff. We hired a lot of smart people. Let's just give them the rest of the autonomy to just handle that. I think when you're a founder and you're building something from scratch, you want to hold all of those close to you. But I think I just had to learn how to let go.
And Matthew, any lessons you'd like, any points of error you'd like to share?
So frankly, everything has been pretty much gone well for us. I'm really happy to say.
That's also fine.
This time has just been has been great for us. It's taken, we've been able to sit back, really plan, build out the solutions, compile our products, do the integration with the two products to really give us that opportunity to maximize the exit as we come out of COVID. So it's been really good for us so far.
That's good. That's good to hear, man.
Yeah, quite lucky.
So then, for a lot of startups who are currently, in the midst of fundraising, trying to figure out their pivot or just trying to keep themselves alive at this point in time, I'd like each of you to share one piece of advice that could help someone else along the way. Dylan, do you want to take over and start?
Yeah, and I can totally empathize with a lot of you founders out there. If you're listening, I was in your exact position a few months ago. I'm not going to give you any business-specific advice because I don't know any of your businesses. What I will say that I think is often overlooked and stigmatized, especially in Southeast Asia, is to take care of your mental health, especially as a founder. It's okay to not feel okay sometimes, honestly, especially in this post-pandemic world. You feel a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, uncertainty. And you find that if it's affecting your work and personal life for long periods of time, talk to someone. It could be a peer, it could be a fellow founder, a professional. I did all of those, especially at those really tough times. And I think it really helped. Just don't bottle it up. Because as a leader, you're leading a company. You need to be in your best state of mind and have the proper mental well-being. Because you're articulating and crafting that vision for your company. It's important to stay very healthy, not just physically, but also mentally. So I think that's one thing that I hope that everyone will be mindful of as you're working in this world right now.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to be a startup founder. I think it applies to absolutely everybody. Matthew, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Spectacular advice. I took up meditation. Going through an M&A is a stressful time, so I took up meditation. Great advice. But for startups or companies, I guess, that are going through a difficult time now, I feel for you. One assumes you've already got your costs under control, is a key kind of metric right now. But it's critical you keep talking to your customers. Keep talking to your customers. Get feedback from what they're doing. Listen to them. Find out opportunities. Find out some of the challenges that they're going through now. And this is what helped us. Listen to their challenges. Where there is challenges, there are opportunities. So spend a lot of time really listening to your customers. It was probably one of my biggest pieces of advice,
Right, so basically take care of your mental health and keep talking to your customers. Now, unfortunately, we've just run out of time, but thank you both so much for sharing your insights and your wisdom.
Thanks,
Marissa.
Good luck going forward.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.